Hello and welcome to Realistic Renovations and Finishing. I'm Sean. Jill will be out here shortly, and today we're going to work on tiling. Uh, she's done it before. I've never really done it too much, especially not backsplashes. So what we're going to work on today is this section right here and the section that's behind the TV. Now, we just bought that today or yesterday, and these are the tiles that we're gonna put on there. So, the first thing we've noticed is that the distance between the end of the cabinet, or the end of the top to the end of the top, is 84.5 inches. This right here goes to 83. So we have to figure out what we want to do before we just trim off one piece. What we're probably going to do is center two pieces and trim off two ends to make it look better. Again, we want to make sure that it looks good, it's functional. We don't have like a little sliver on one end and that's it. Kind of make it somewhat even on both sides. So as we go through, we'll time lapse. Like I said, we've never done it before. We do have the mastic, which is for the backsplashes and stuff, and we have the pre-mixed grout. Both of them are pre-mixed. A little bit easier for me. I don't have to worry about making it too thin or too thick or whatever. So we'll go with that. Okay. I'll figure this out and I'll get back in a couple seconds. So the way we laid it out right now is the two center tiles right here will be in the center on the wall there. These tiles on either side will be cut at 29 5/8 inches. So one thing that we have to look at for when we do this is the width in between here and the blade is shorter than this. So to show you, it hits right there. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to cut a section out of this or a section out of here. That way we can actually get through it. So unfortunately, I'll have to cut a little section out, then cut it again. Now with all power tools, use ear protection with this, eye protection. Keep your hands away from the spinning blade unless you don't. So now we can go back in and cut the remainder of the blade off, or cut the remainder of the tile off. Don't start it with the tile in it. There you go. Video. Okay, so now the top two tiles will be full. The bottom tile is what we're going to cut. So the one we just cut to 14 5/8. We're going to basically have to cut it to 7 1/4 height wise. So when we cut this, we're going to make sure that the manufactured edge is on one side of the cut on one of the blades and on the other side of the cut on the other blade. That way you don't have any weird transitions or anything like that. YouTube is a wonderful thing. So one of the things we've noticed, we bought this one and the tile is
Too long.
28 inches long, where the blade, or where you can start cutting, is 24. So make bad decisions. The one way to do it is to basically raise this plate up to go behind the guard That way we can cut it and not have to worry about it. 3 inches, 4 inches, makes a big deal. Okay, so we've got all the tile cut, getting the wall ready. We put this down to kind of the counters themselves. The countertop isn't on, we actually removed that. Again, we'll let you know later on the reason why we're putting the countertop on after we put the tile in. So to sand down that a little bit, but other than that, the wall's pretty much ready to go. So the first thing we got to do is find the center point. So the center point is right here. I just marked it. So it's 83 3/4. So the center point is basically 41 7/8. I did all the math and everything like that and realized my tape measure actually has a centering function. It tells you what the center of all the measurements are. Who knew? I'll sand that down real quick. We'll start prepping this side, so we'll actually work this way. And then when we get this way, I have to cut the piece out for this. So when I put the tile up, it actually goes through. Hi, Kaylee. She's coming out to see what I'm doing. And then we'll work this way. First step, here over, and hopefully I don't botch it up too bad. Okay, so I have everything marked off for this on the other tile. So I have the tile set up and it marked where I have to cut. So this right here is the hole I have to cut out. I am using one without a guard. Be careful, I'm not putting my face in the plane of rotation of this thing in case something happens. I'd advise you to use a guard. It's just this doesn't fit with the guard I have. So my suggestion is find a blade that actually fits that rather than do what I do. So I just don't really want to go to the store just for this one little tile, and I'll probably, next time I'm up there, I'll go grab it. That way I could use the guard and use it safely. So again, be careful, don't use it, don't be in the plane of rotation where debris is going to hit you or anything like that. Wear glasses, ear protection, stuff like that. Make sure there's nobody around that's going to be in the plane rotation as well. So it is cut, does fit right where it needs to, and we'll put this on here shortly. Quick lesson to be learned, that is not the center. The center is right there. So this side and this side are not equal. What the hell? Hopefully I don't botch it up too bad. So before I started, I went ahead, and since I don't want to go any past this, I went ahead and put a line right here. That'll basically, the end of the tile is right about there. I didn't want to go any further because I don't want to have to clean up anything off of this. This right here is the end of the cabinet. The tile actually hangs just like a 1/2 inch or 1/4 inch over because of the countertop that actually sticks out. So that way when I do put the mastic on, it doesn't overlap and I don't have to worry about cleaning up the wall. I keep it on this side of the line, it should be fine. Just want to let you know. So sorry about all the noise, but we have this one done, all these done, all these are done. They'll dry tonight. Probably let it dry for a couple days. Okay, quick rundown of this one. So we took the TV off. We have the mounting bracket, which we're not gonna remove the tile underneath. I don't need it. These right here, these marks are where the arms come down, where actually it hooks onto this and hooks onto the bottom side. This right here, right about here, is the center, and this is how far they go down. So basically what I'll do is I'll cut a piece of tile that goes this way, down, that way it clears this stuff, is out. Diesel, hey, Diesel, come here. Oh, no, more interested in being outside. Okay, so again, we'll tile around all this stuff. We'll leave a gap. We don't want to remove these panels or this. We don't plan on taking anything out. We plan on leaving it all here. So you won't see the open tile or the tile-less spots because the TV will be right up against it. Now we just got to find the center, which would be easy because it's right there. So I just got to mark it, make sure I get it all lined up, not like I did that one. Actually make sure I get the center, not off-centered. Now basically right now I cut the piece that goes in the center. I had to trim off this much to be able to go underneath the bracket. I also have to trim off all this. This is where the brackets are that actually clamp onto the bracket on there, or the mount on there, and actually bolt onto the back of the TV. So this right here will give me clearance to be able to have them hook up to that bracket. Update. So this is the center. The mark on the paper is the center, that is for sure. Now this isn't centered perfectly because the way it was set up is I have to bolt it into a beam. So, or studs. So these right here, where the studs would have been right in the middle of these pieces right here. So I had to move it over. So it's going to be off-centered this way, but the true center of the wall or the opening is right here. We'll go ahead and start trimming off these pieces. It's just like the little corners and stuff, just to be able to make sure. I'm gonna basically work my way from the bottom and work my way up. These right here, I'm not sure if I have to cut them. I think I do. I know this side I will. And the top side, yeah, the top side we'll figure out. Okay. Now granted, this is just test fit, make sure everything fits in there, all the lines are nice. Got this piece around here, have these two pieces in here where I can still hook up the brackets, bottom, sides. So I made sure that when I trimmed these, I actually trimmed them to this size, 22 3/8, and then trimmed this much off of it. That way these lines, wherever they line up, actually line up with whatever lines are in the tile anyways. So this one we really had to be careful because it's really thin on the top. So we have to basically hold it with both hands. You're not gonna freaking hold it with one hand and have it break right there. Knock on wood. But we'll be able to get all these in. They tuck up underneath, and then thank you for Jill for all the help.
Now these right here is intentionally left empty. That way the brackets right here can hit the wall and not the tile.
Yep.
And we labeled every single one, that way we know where they are.
Yeah, so that way when, just like when I showed you guys in here when I did the, well, I don't know if it's before or after, but when I do this, the trim on the top, I number it left, right, front to back, number 1 through 3. So 1 on the bottom, 3 on the top, left, center, right. To update you on something, we had to trim out this portion of the top piece, this little bit right there and that little bit right there, just for the sole fact that the clamps or the brackets that the TV's on wouldn't fit that little area. So I had to trim out a little bit, enough to like get it up there and slide it into the bracket. Again, when I finally get it up there, I'll show you guys what I'm talking about on the time lapse. Okay, this is all done. Now you can see where those brackets go. This is cut a little bit short, but no biggie. You can see where the brackets go. They'll hook on to right here and right here. So when they hook on, they hook this way and then they clip onto the bottom. That'll give me enough room to be able to pick it up, slide it in, and still hook on the bottom. Won't get in the way. It will be center, so that's not a big deal. These are taped because they just seem to slide out on the bottom when I was moving it around. So other than that, everything's cleaned. There's a couple little spots, but that's easily wiped off. That one's done too. Sorry about the wind noise if you hear it. It's the fans in here. This is done too, all wiped down. So all we have to do now is do the grout. Jill says it's easy. We'll see. I'll let her do it. Okay, see you then.
All right, welcome back to R3. Today we are going to clean the adhesive, as you can see here, off the tile and the wall, and I'm going to show you how to do that. All this right here, right here. I did it to this one, off camera. I got it as close as I can in there. Just about the best you can do, but as you can see, it's all cleaned up as best as I can get it. We did remove the spacers and the shims underneath. That's all done. So I'm going to give you some tips when it comes to removing this adhesive on the wall that gets on your tile. If this happens to you, don't freak out, especially if you're like a newbie on laying tile. Don't freak out, it will come off. Just don't go at it with like a hammer and a chisel, because that's not the right way to do it. The way that you want to do this is just get a regular bucket of water. That's all that is. It's just tap water. Not very much, it's just that whole pitcher full. And I just dumped it in there, and that's all I'm using. Now, the sponge, what you use to get this off with is kind of crucial. This sponge here, this blue one, has a blue sponge and a blue scrubber top. On the package, and you can find these at Target, Home Depot, Lowe's, Walmart, wherever you get your cleaning supplies, it'll be there. But on the package, it will specify that these will not scratch porcelain surfaces. They are made for bathrooms. Get these to do this. Now, it may not look like I'm doing much right now, but I'm at least getting water on that. Let me go grab the thing. I got plastic putty knives because you don't want to use metal because it will scratch the surface of the tile. I'm just having it wet just a little bit, not a whole lot. Took it right off. You just got to get it a little bit wet. Take your knife. And it's going to take some elbow grease to it, so you're going to have to not be afraid to work. There we go. It's kind of hard to do this with one hand, so if I'm jerky with the camera, I do apologize. Just take this and just get it down as low as you can because the grout will cover that. I'm not really too worried about that. It's just basically on the surfaces of the tile that I'm more worried about. This one isn't too bad. We actually cleaned this one up a lot more than we did that one. That one was hell. That one took a while. Like this right here. Take the marker off. And if you can't get the marker off, we use actually a Sharpie. I would probably recommend something more like a dry erase marker when you mark your tiles. But rubbing alcohol should be able to take your marker off. If not, try Goo Gone. But always read your manufacturer's instructions before you try anything, and try it on a scrap before you do anything stupid and try it on your final one. You try it on your final one and you ruin it, well, Oh, I lost my rag. This should come off the cabinet too. We use the sponges on surfaces really not meant to have water on it, like the cabinets. Be really, really careful. Don't be so super heavy-handed on it, because you will damage it. Take a rag, dry it off right away. You don't get that water off, you're going to damage your counters and your cabinets. After we get the grouting done, all these little holes, I don't know if you can see them, right here and all right there, all around the room will be done, either today or if not tomorrow. See, simple as that. Now, I do have a microfiber towel in there as well. We're going to try and soak the spacers, see if we can save them. Just that way we can reuse the stuff. Microfibers are great for wringing them out and wiping down the excess and, you know, clean them up. Another thing I want to point out is when you use something like this, an SOS pad, always, especially on like this, a new project, use your scraps and try it first. I just used a spray bottle here that has a cleaner in it. I sprayed the scrap tile that we had, and then I used that. You want to treat that a lot lighter as far as pressure goes, because it is a metal. If you go too hard on it, it will scratch it. Just always try it on a tester first, because if you just assume that it's going to be okay and you just dive into it and you find out, oh, I just did this whole thing and it screwed it all up, you're going to be so mad. And you might as well just rip it all off and do it all over again. So yeah, be mindful what you use. Always do your tester first. If it doesn't hurt the tester, then it's not going to hurt your main one. Watch the pressure that you use it on, because some surfaces like this, they don't like water. This doesn't mind it. This one can handle the pressure of being scrubbed. That can't. This doesn't like metal. That doesn't like metal. So just be mindful what you do, okay? I can't stress this enough, because I've seen so many people clean, things I used to clean for a living, and they would try something and it would screw it all up, and then they're like, well, I don't know how to fix it. I'm like, well, there's really no fixing it, you gotta replace it. So yeah, just be careful. I'm gonna bring you back when we get down to grouting. Okay? Okay, so we're ready for the grout. So real quick, I taped this all up because all this right here and on top of this and around these areas, we're just gonna put caulking in there, as well as the sides right here and right there. So that's all masked off for that. Now, I did change out my bucket of water, so it's clean. I got a sponge. This is already pre-mixed, so you don't have to worry about it. And this is silver. We got it at Lowe's. That's the name of the company. We're not sponsored or affiliated. And it actually comes with its own sponge, so I didn't know that until we opened it. But it's ready to go. So how we're gonna do this, I'm gonna use a plastic putty knife onto the foam trowel, and we're just gonna put it on there, trowel it on there, and then wipe it off. That's basically how you're gonna do this. Now, grouting isn't hard, it's just messy. But you are on a time limit, so let's get going to time lapse.
Okay, so this is all finished. All the tile, the grout. I got the caulking up here to seal it, hide the crack, plates on. The countertops are actually installed right now to kind of give you an idea what it looks like when it's all installed. This will come at a later video. This right here is basically just caulking in a tube that matches this, and remarkably it is pretty darn close to the actual paint of the wall. So this is the backsplash for this side. Now we already have all this stuff put up. This is a backsplash for here. So again, we put there we go. You can see the sealant and stuff. Same with up there. Countertops on, and all the stuff behind there is hidden, so you can't see where I was talking about before. So that's all done. That's all done. So again, this is kind of practice for when we do our other areas in the house, whether it be the kitchen or bathrooms and stuff like that. We might as well do it out here. That way, if we do mess up a little bit, it's not going to be too bad to fix. Plus, I'd rather get it right the first time in there and practice in here than have to redo something in the bathroom or the kitchen, because that's going to take even longer without one of those facilities. So again, if you like this stuff, there'll be more to come. We have a small house, but pretty much every room is going to be totally redone. Kind of like how it is in the garage. We're kind of go over the top a little bit. We go above and beyond. We do stuff that's a little bit different. Again, if you like this, please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, share with friends. There'll be plenty more to come. There's a lot of other videos for the garage coming. Garage is almost done, so I won't show you a lot of the things, but you could probably see some of the things that are in future videos. So hope you enjoy. See you guys later.